Hi, I'm Mike Tenney, host of Pop Culture Catechism, and this is Awaken the Word. A common question that people ask me is, why did Jesus speak in parables so frequently? Why did he speak in these mysterious ways? Why didn't he just come out and say what he meant? And what is happening here is it's the difference between what is often called the Greek mind and the Semitic mind. From the Greek way of thinking, they have these philosophers like Socrates and Plato. And if you ask Socrates, what is justice? And he'll give you a definition of justice, or Aristotle will, or Socrates will, or Plato will say, the soul has three parts and has a rational part and an irrational part. It would be very delineated, very specific. And that's how the creeds of the church were written, in that sort of Greek philosophy. We believe in one God, and he's consubstantial with the Father, and in one in being with the Holy Spirit. And it's very technical language. And if you study the early church councils, they get these words that very technical meanings. It's a lot of jargon. It can be kind of confusing. And Jesus's culture and the way Jesus explained things was very different. If you asked him about justice, or you asked him about the soul, or you asked him, what is goodness, he wasn't going to give you a definition. He was probably going to say something like, let me tell you about this widow, or let me tell you about this man who had a farm. And he's going to tell you a story. And it's not like a fable. If you think of Aesop's fables with the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. It's a simple story with a simple lesson. The parable is almost the opposite of that. It's almost like a Zen riddle. Like if a tree falls in the woods, but nobody's around, does it hear a sound? It's meant to get you thinking outside of the simple lessons, outside of the preconceived notions. And Jesus says he does this specifically so that people hear, but they don't immediately understand. They have to think about it. And so when we hear these parables, it's meant to break us out of our preconceived notions and have to think about things in a different way. Jesus came into the world to be the Messiah, this anointed figure from the Old Testament, God's anointed one. But that came with a lot of baggage. A lot of people thought he was going to be a military leader, like Moses throwing curses on the Egyptians, or Judas Maccabeus kicking the Greeks out of the temple. That's what a lot of people thought the Messiah was supposed to do, was come in and kick out the Romans. And so just coming in and saying, I'm the Messiah, carried a lot of implications that Jesus didn't want to carry with him. It'd be almost the equivalent of today. You meet someone and you ask them about their political leanings, and they say, well, I believe Black Lives Matter, or I believe we should make America great again. I mean, I want to make America great. I believe that Black Lives Matter, but those phrases imply a lot more than just making America great and the dignity of Black people. They carry a lot of other things with them. And so did the phrase, the Messiah. And so Jesus was trying to get them to think about being a different sort of Messiah, a Prince of Peace. And so when we hear these stories and parables, may we also open our minds to think outside the box. I've been Mike Tenney, and this has been Awaken the Word.